Hello, everybody. How are we? Feels like a while, actually. Welcome back to WD18, the Watford fan channel. The last time we did a video was at the Mad Squirrel for a post-match punt after the Mill defeat. We're back to winning ways with myself, Jacob Culture, not that I played, but with Charlie Zazera as well. Charlie, I didn't see you at the weekend, did I? How have you been? Because it's been, as I said, it felt like a little while since we've done one of these.
Yeah, busy, mate. Working on a new project with friend of the channel, David Walker, on the England pod. So, any England fans, make sure you subscribe. Head over to that. So, some good England content about the international break coming up. And yeah, been busy. I was jealous watching the post-match pints, seeing the pints, the burgers, and the pizza. Do they taste good?
The Mad Squirrel rolled out everything for us, the red carpet. Got our own table. We had a pizza, we had a burger, a couple of pints. Harry Welsh, friend of the channel, was on that one. So if you want to, I don't think anyone wants to relive Millwall, but if you want to watch the video, that is on the channel. We're back doing an online stream today, an online podcast to talk about a good win for Watford against Swansea. A game that, Charlie, going into it, you just felt that Watford had to win. Swansea were in 16th, Watford were 49 points at the time. On the back of that Millwall defeat, it was just a case of getting it done. But I actually felt it was quite a comfortable Watford performance overall. Did you have that watching it from home? That feeling?
I'm not sure really. There's something, but I don't know about you. And obviously, I'll ask you because you went to the game, but I haven't been to too many midweek under the light games at Vicarage Road this season, but they've always felt pretty grim. I don't know. Like we had that good win against Bristol City, but I feel like they battered us. Bad defeat against Preston. Just hasn't felt great this season. Midweek games, stadium kind of half empty. So yeah, yesterday was really, really important. It felt that kind of sluggish game, and yeah, good to see us win. Really, I think it's a really important one, especially after that Millwall game. And were we in control? I went out quickly looked at the XG. Swansea just edged it, but we had a better XG in open play, so they threatened more on set pieces. But yeah, I didn't feel too nervous. Like I wasn't even that invested in the game. I was kind of had other things on in Champions League and stuff. But how was it in the ground? Was it what I said about it a bit quieter? It felt like the fans got a bit louder as the game was going on to get the lads over the line.
Yeah, it did. It did have a Carabao Cup third round feel to it in terms of the attendance.
It does.
Because I think you kind of look at, obviously the Rookery is always a sellout, but I looked at the Elton John stands and the Anne Swanson family stand that it was kind of half full. And I think it was maybe one of those games where some people who maybe thought about going were probably like, well, is there anything in this? Because Swansea are probably unlikely to go down. Watford are probably an outside chance of the playoffs, even though we're only 4 points off now, which makes Oxford's trip to Saturday. I mean, it feels like we could literally go on just an inconsistent run like we have all season and end up 3 points off the playoffs, Charlie. Are we ever gonna? Like our playoff dreams ever gonna die?
It's the the Bart Simpson meme in the classroom. Say the line, say the line.
Yeah.
We're only 3 points off the playoffs. Yay!
I mean, it is mental, isn't it? Because we're 10th in the league now, right? 37 games played. We've got 9 games left, 52 points, and we're 4 points off Coventry. And again, I hate to be that guy, but if we had beat Millwall and hold on to that lead, we would have been a point off the playoffs, which, I mean, makes it even worse. But the fact is, Charlie, we are still, with that win yesterday, in the conversation.
Yeah, it's mad. Always in the conversation. And yeah, I think we got again try and take a step back. We're overachieving. Like I kind of said positively as a prediction at the start of the season that we would have some time in the playoff places. We did that earlier on the season, but to have remained within touching distance felt like throughout the whole season, even though we went through a rough patch. I think it's really credit to Clevs and credit to the players. And I like to think of us now, I've got a new nickname for us, Tom Cleverley's Fine Margin Hornets, where, again, we've just done enough to get on the right side of a result yesterday, another win by 1 goal margin. And yeah, that still counts for 3 points. Happy days.
Yeah, just to go back to what you asked, Charlie, about sort of the atmosphere yesterday. As I said, it did have a bit of a Carabao Cup feel to it, as I said, because I think probably both sets of fans knew it wasn't one of the most important games of the season, even though Watford did win and they still keep in touching distance of the playoffs. In terms of Watford's performance overall, I felt that first half, if I remember sort of correctly, Eagle Selvig made a good save in the first half, which has been forgotten about. And it felt like Watford weren't. Look, if we take it right back to the start, I've kind of jumped the gun here. Watford didn't play without a striker. They played without a striker. They went full Spain Euro 2008 and just thought, you know what, we're going to play without a striker and we're going to pass through the lines. We're going to keep it really. And obviously, congratulations to Vacuum Bio, his wife, the Bio family, because he had a little one, not him, his partner in the morning. So he didn't start.
Baby Bio, yes.
What a boy. I don't know if it is a boy, by the way, but Bio, what a boy. And so Kiembe started up front. And one thing I didn't realise, Charlie, that he had in his locker was the amount of headers he won. Like, Kiembe has played in literally every single position this season, it feels like.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, he stood out for me yesterday, and I thought, especially in that first half against Millwall, he was good. He's just solid. I think he's been kind of low-key one of our best players this season.
Why do you think people don't rate him though, Charlie?
Yeah, I tweeted and I got a few comments saying he's awful, and I was like, no, he wasn't. I don't know if it was kind of the way he arrived in that January under Ranieri. Was it him and Hassan Kamara? And obviously he had a terrible start to his Watford career, but he's quickly come back. Was he our top goal scorer this season?
Yep.
And I thought, like you said, he won a couple of flick-ons to start with. I think his ball retention is his biggest strength, and that's why Cleverly keeps him in the team, because he's able to control it, and so it's not bouncing off. I thought we might get onto it for a bit, but when we were trying to close the game out yesterday, and when Rocco Vata came on, congrats Rocco and for James for their call-ups to the Republic of Ireland squad, but kept giving the ball away, which Clevs must have been going mad. So it's so important, and Bio didn't do any better, like trying to hold on to it. So to have a player who can hold on to a ball up the pitch and bring the better quality players in, I think's vital. And I think that's why, I personally think that's why Kayembe got the nod over Bio, because he's going to be at least a focal point where it can stick, and then we can play from there. What do you think about Kayembe and the discourse around him? Because I really like. I think he's been great this season.
No, I agree. I think he goes into the underappreciated bracket for me. Like, I do think that some of the stuff he does, while it might not be the sexiest of play, there's certain times in the game where he like wins a header or puts his body in between a player and just takes the pressure off us. And actually, I don't think you can underestimate the value of having a player who can play well. As we saw yesterday, he can fill in at striker. Look, he didn't make many runs in behind. You had someone in the 10. You had someone in he could play as a 2 as well in midfield. And whilst we all know his best position is as a number 10, I think when we bought him from Belgium, it was pretty clear that was his best role. He's a really good player to have in the squad, I think, because he can play multiple positions. And even at some point this season, he did a job on the right-hand side where he was cutting in. So I struggle with the sort of discourse sometimes around Kiembe because I think he gets a little bit harshly criticised. I'm not saying he's the best player in the world, but I just think for a championship team like Watford's, and we have to be realistic here, he's just a good championship footballer. And he'll give, and also he's rarely injured. Yeah, he gives you a lot of games, a lot of minutes, and that can't be underestimated either. But look, he played as the number 9. If I get the line up here, Charlie.
Just quickly on Kayembe, before I forget, he actually had a masterstroke yesterday as well. Imran Louza was storming around and he could have easily got sent off, and he had a bad tackle and it all kicked off, and Kayembe kind of got involved and it kind of distracted the ref, it feels. And I think, I might be wrong, but did Kayembe get booked? Where is he?
Yeah, Kayembe got booked.
And took one for the team and kept Louza available for next game. Love it.
Tell you what, the referee was grinding my gears yesterday. I'll be totally honest. And Louza, it wouldn't have surprised me if he had got a second yellow. Not because it would have been slightly harsh, but it just felt like that was where the game was going. Anyway, Tom Cleverley went with Selvakin goal, a back four of Andrews, Pollock, Abankwah, who was man of the match according to SofaScore, with LaRusi at left back, Tom Delibashira and Louza in the 2, with Chatford on the left hand side, Sissoko as captain on the right, with Ince in the 10, and then Kiembe leading the line as we mentioned. Moussa Sissoko, Charlie, with the goal. And we take a look at that momentum bar. It just came when Watford started to sustain a little bit of pressure. It was pretty clear that we were trying to draw Swansea out, and once we did that a couple of times, we had success, but we weren't really we didn't show a lot of penetration going forward, I felt. And then the one moment we did do, Charlie, was with the goal. And that was actually showed a lot of composure. When the ball, well dispossessed, Ince with a lovely weight of pass. And then Sissoko with, I think you called it a Harry Kane finish, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I was watching it with my girlfriend, and I was like, when you see that goal, like, what kind of finish do you think it? Like, who's it similar finish with? And she said Harry Kane. I thought it's not a bad shout actually. First time, and obviously played with Kane at Spurs. Yeah, fair play. He's pitched in with a couple of match-winning goals now. Musa against Middlesbrough away, and now Swansea. Interesting approach from Clevs. And again, I wasn't fully focused on the game, so apologies because this analysis is not up to scratch, and we're kind of going raw here today because we're short on time. But I felt like, do you reckon we conceded a bit more possession because Swansea are a bit more of a better possession team? And I also felt like Loser struggled to get in his positions and on the ball as much as previous games. He wasn't getting his new new right back or left back position, or even between the centre halves. So I thought we kind of had a bit more of an approach of, okay, we're comfortable in a 4-4-2 out of possession. When we haven't got it, and you try and break us down and try and catch them on the counter attack. That's exactly what happened when their defender had a absolute brain fart and kind of passed it back to Tom Ince, and it was like 4-on-2. And yeah, fair play to the Moose sweeping it home into the top bin.
Lovely, lovely goal. I watched it back this morning, and there's just a slight bobble as he hits it, which meant that he just got a little bit more loft to put it over Vigouroux.
He would have missed if he didn't have
he had it. He had a shot. I have to say, Charlie, Sissoko's just gone under the radar as someone who has gone about his business. And the change in position to the right has probably been the best thing that could have happened for Sissoko. And fair play to Cleverley, because, look, we all know Sissoko isn't the player that he used to be, but he's still a fantastic athlete. And he gives a lot of composure, I think, to some of the younger players, which I think that, again, similar to Kiembe, goes a bit underappreciated in a game like yesterday. I thought he did really well, Sissoko, and look, his goal was great. My standouts yesterday, Charlie, to be honest, Abankwah, who I wanted to talk about a bit more. I thought Loser was composed, but again, not as effective as he was. Sissoko, as I mentioned, Kiembe, and I thought Tom Ince was good as well. And Tom Ince is one of those weird ones, again, where, and just sort of reminds you that I think maybe I'm guilty of it as well. We went from the Premier League, and you almost set the standard here. And sometimes you just got to expect us to maybe have one week where someone's really on it, and the next they're not. And Tom Ince sometimes looks like one of the best players in the squad when he gets the ball and he makes the right decision. And then the next minute, he'll be completely out of the game and make some errors. And sometimes I just need to maybe take a step back. This is therapy for me, by the way. Just take a step back and go, you know what? They are going to make mistakes. And I thought Ince yesterday looked good. But James Abankwah, Charlie, I mean, we put the stat out on WD18 about his performances recently. And there's no surprises that he's got a senior call-up to the Ireland squad for the first time. Rocco Vata as well, who got a call-up. But Abankwah looks like a fantastic get. And I guess the 3 words is, James, sign the contract.
Sign the contract. Like, can you remember a player coming in at this time in January and having as much of an impact? I can't. I think he's been absolutely outstanding. A quick look at his stats on FootMob. So these are defensive stats. You can see who's ranked at the top. James Abankwah, top for defensive actions, top for tackles. Ngakia with the interceptions. Only their keeper had more recoveries, most blocks, clearances. I think Matty just beat him on the headed clearances as per, but yeah, he's been absolutely outstanding since he's come in. You can see kind of his performances here. And from that Middlesbrough game, with Kevin Caben, he really kind of picked up. I think I do agree. He had his kind of off day against Millwall. That's quite a low score, 5.5. But Middlesbrough, Luton, Stoke, outstanding. And he even got a higher score yesterday against Swansea. For a player of his age, his ability, that run that he had was in the first half. He's got the power and the control to beat players. I haven't seen a defender at this level have that skill set, the ability to run past players with ease, and he really does have it. He's been absolutely sensational, and we need to just make him feel as comfortable and make him want to sign some sort of contract, because if we had him next year with Matty Pollock and obviously one or two more, that is such a strong foundation for the season. And if we can get him on a long-term contract, the Pozzos are going to want to do that anyway, because his resale value is going to be absolutely huge. But he did sign a contract with Udinese, I think, in January before he came over. But we know how fluid those Watford Udinese contracts are. But yeah, James Abankwah, absolutely outstanding. And yeah, congratulations on that Ireland call-up. For a player who couldn't even stand on his own feet at Charlton, he's doing all right, isn't he?
It's amazing story. That run in the first half, where he picked it up on the edge of the 18-yard box and literally sprinted to the other 18-yard box with the ball. And as you said, Charlie, I can't think of any other centre-back just to come into mind that can do what he just did there. Very, very rare skill set to have as a footballer. Sometimes I watch him and I think, should he be in midfield, to be honest? The way he can drive past players and break it up. And I think, would he almost have more of an impact on the game if he was in the midfield? But I think the combination of Pollock and Abankwah, they do really complement each other well, because I feel like Pollock, what he maybe lacks in pace, and I know Matty would admit that he's not the quickest of lads, but Abankwah is absolutely rapid. But then Pollock is very good at covering for Abankwah if he goes forward, and vice versa. And I just think they complement each other so well. There was one moment, actually, I don't know if anyone who's listening to this picked this up. A second half, you probably wouldn't have picked it up if it was on TV. But there was one point where Selvik went to play the ball out the back, and he had a pop at Pollock saying, "Mate, you need to pull out wider to give me an angle." And Pollock turned around and gave him a bit back, and Selvik was giving him a bit. I thought, I really like that. And then about a minute later, they basically spoke to each other and said, "Don't worry, we move on." And I think a lot of times over recent years, we would have seen those players have too big of an ego and make it a bigger deal than it was. And I really like that, to be honest. It's a little thing that I just saw yesterday. I think, to be honest, before we get Sam's thoughts, Charlie, good goal from Sissoko. I felt Watford had Swansea where they wanted to in the second half. It just felt like a team for Watford where we do just lack a little bit of killer instinct in front of goal. We didn't create a lot yesterday.
A little bit.
Well, yeah, a little bit's been polite, isn't it? I mean, we just do lack a bit of killer instinct. Chatfordazzi had one of his poorer nights again. I say again, one of his poorer nights. That's a bit harsh again, but yeah, he wasn't really in the game as much yesterday. Maybe it was that because he didn't have a focal point. I thought Ince worked really well, as I said. Sissoko, Kiembe, Abankwah losing my standouts. And on that note, let's get Charlie's. We've had Charlie's thoughts. Let's get Sam's thoughts on yesterday. So this is what he had to say about Watford's win against Swansea.
Hi guys, hope you're all well. Apologies I can't be on the stream today, but I just thought I'd give my quick thoughts on what was a really poor game of football last night between Watford and Swansea. Obviously delighted that Watford got the win, and in a way it was sort of refreshing that Watford were able to grind out that result. So many times over the years, it feels like Watford have been on the wrong end of those results, those sort of really poor, scrappy games that we just seem to be edged out of. So in that respect, I thought it was quite refreshing to get a win like that last night. But of course, it's not one that will live long in the memory for the neutral, I don't think, or for Watford or Swansea fans for that matter, to be honest with you. Stands out, I think the obvious one is James Abankwah, who I think he did have a bit of an off day against Millwall, but on the whole, for the 8 or 9 games he's played so far, for 7 out of those 8, he's been outstanding. Another excellent performance last night, and that Ireland call-up that has just broken now is really well deserved for both him and Rocco Vata, who I thought looked bright when he came on. I haven't seen the chance back, but he looked like he was unlucky not to score as well. Other standout, I thought Adil Selvik, again, maybe a bit of an off day with his distribution, particularly against Millwall, but on the whole, he was brilliant last night, made a crucial save in the first half and just really composed in terms of coming out, claiming the ball, and his distribution as well, relaxes players around him. I thought it was a functional performance last night, more than anything else for Watford. Obviously, he's not starting a striker. The likes of Kiembe and Sissoko had to put in a real shift, and I thought they did that. So, 3 points is 3 points. Really, really happy with that. Is our season dead? Well, not quite. I think we could just still be alive, but those next 2 games are huge against Oxford and Plymouth. Anything less than 6 points, and I think that is our playoff hopes officially dead. So yeah, hope everyone enjoys the video, and looking forward to catching up with you all soon.
What a man, Sam Yuko. He's back. I mean, he has some. I mean, he summed up the game pretty much perfectly. I mean, he teed up Charlie our trip to Oxford on Saturday. So Charlie's jumping in the car. We're heading up to Oxford. I forgot to ask Charlie, what time do you want to get there on Saturday?
Mate, I'm a passenger, so whenever you guys want to go, I'm buzzing to have another away day with a cultural senior.
Cultural senior.
And you.
People said he looked like. Do you remember the Italian chef Aldo Zilli?
Such a good show.
Yeah, if you've seen my dad before, you'll know we look like Aldo Zilli. But going into Oxford on Saturday, Charlie.
Where did you get your hairline from?
Who, me? Well, I don't know. It might be a bit too early to say that. But Oxford on Saturday, I mean, look, Cleverly will be targeting all three. It's a game that Watford have to win, as Sam said, to keep the playoff dreams alive. We started talking about playoffs. We're going to finish talking about playoffs. How are you feeling going into Saturday?
More just looking forward to a good away day. I haven't felt too much about it. Like, I think after that really disappointing second half in Millwall, that really took the wind out of my sails in terms of any kind of hope for playoffs. I think West Brom are looking pretty strong. I know Coventry lost to Derby, but they've got good players. I don't really want to think about playoffs yet, but a convincing win at Oxford, where on paper they had another disappointing defeat yesterday. I think they took the lead at Hull and ended up losing 2-1. So they're really looking over their shoulder. It's going to be an anxious crowd. So an opportunity. And I think we have looked better away from home really recently. We've had those results. Sunderland, Middlesbrough, Stoke, we were pretty solid. So another good opportunity before the international break. Yeah, if we got a win, bouncing into that international break, get some players back fit. Mr. Quadro Bar is warming up. We've seen the pictures of him on the grass. So if we go into the back end of the season with a fit and firing Bar, could be exciting. But yeah, no game in the Championship to given. We still have to. I thought that was the one thing that we let ourselves down against Millwall was the application. We kind of thought we'd just going to come out and stroll to a win, but we didn't fight as hard and we didn't roll our sleeves off. And I thought that was quite noticeable yesterday, where we're a bit more aggressive. You saw losers steaming into tackles, Kayembe. So we need a bit of that energy going into Saturday if we're gonna win anything.
I looked at Oxford's form, and the last time they won was actually at home. They beat Luton on the 21st of January. So that was their last win in general, and that did come at home. But they're on a winless run of 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 games, and they've lost
Watford.
4 of their last 5, which is almost like the worst time to play them, because knowing Watford, they'll do a Watford. But we'll see, because Watford actually, if you flip it and just to wrap up today and look at our form going into that one, I mean, just quietly, yeah, sure, the Millwall result wasn't a good one, but we've won 3 of our last 5. We're unbeaten in 4 of our last 5. The only defeat coming against Millwall, and you know, Tom Cleverley's mentioned it a few times. We're in our best moment of the season, he thinks. So going into Oxford away on Saturday, then Plymouth, Bristol City, Hull, and West Brom as the next 5 or so. I think he'll be looking at Oxford and Plymouth as 2 must-wins, and then Bristol City, who are just outside the playoffs, it feels like a big one, really, if we do pick up what we want out the next 2. But anyway, I'm looking too far ahead. Charlie, is there anything else you want to mention about today? Sorry, it's a little bit of a shorter one. We're both very, very busy with work. We wanted to do a quick stream just to talk about yesterday, but probably my general take, Charlie, unless there's anything to add. A professional performance by Watford in terms of the win, the reaction we needed after the weekend. Wasn't the prettiest. We got the job done. Won't live long in the memory, but Sissoko, Kayembe, Abankwah once again, fantastic. And Tom Cleverley's Yellows move on to Oxford.
Yeah, just looking at our results, like you said, we are in, I know Millwall was bad, but we are in a good moment. And looking at that, 4 clean sheets in the last 5, which I can't remember the last time we did that. So, yeah, on to Oxford. Hopefully we can have another win, and then we could maybe talk about the running. And, yeah, all good. The only other thing I wanted to mention before we finish, we've got the Mental Health World Cup coming up. It's going to start really ramping up soon. I know you guys mentioned it on the last stream. We have got Watford legend Tommy Smith being a player. So that's going to be an incentive for teams to whoever can raise the most funds will get Tommy Smith as one of their players. And we've also got a special team entering the tournament. So details on that are going to be coming soon. We've almost confirmed all 32 teams, and then we are going to be doing a draw live from London Colney. Hopefully we'll have a couple of special guests helping with the draw. Hopefully we'll definitely be filming the content, maybe having it live on WD18's social channels. So that's going to start ramping up until the end of the season. Again, dates for that are Saturday the 10th of May, the Saturday after the last game of the season. You can get your tickets in the Mental Health World Cup page. We'll put a link in the description. So that's really going to ramp up. So thanks for everyone who's put a big shift in already. I think we've already raised loads of money. Let me have a look how much we've raised already. $31,000. So
wow.
Again, like that is a huge start, and that's down to kind of involving all those 32 teams. Thanks to some sponsors that we've got. All these details are going to come out, but we've made a really big start. But we've been working hard behind the scenes, so it's going to start getting real now. So thank you for everyone who's made the effort. And I know we've been pestering people, and it's tough kind of fundraising money at the moment, but everyone's done an amazing job. So it should be an amazing day.
It's creeping up on us. Should be a special day. All the details will be in the description below, as Charlie said, so if you want to get involved on the day. And also the other thing to mention is if you're not playing, there will be the opportunity to come down on the day and watch as well. I think for a small fee to get a ticket. So that's one just to put a date in the diary. Charlie, thanks so much for joining us. Or joining myself, it's just me today, with on today's stream. Thanks so much to Sam for sending his thoughts. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. We'll be back on Sunday night, hopefully, to do a Oxford reaction and just have a little bit of a chat, probably a bit more of a deeper chat about Watford. This is just to give our sort of instant raw reaction, say instant, it's about 24 hours after the game, but a raw reaction on Watford's, in the end, comfortable win over Swansea and just keeps us in touching distance of the playoffs. Just whisper it quietly. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you on Sunday. Take care and up the audits. You want.